Welcome, dear listener, and thanks for joining us.
I'm Yanto.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is a podcast all about the weird and wonderful world of the dark comedy anthology series, Inside Number 9.
On each episode, we'll be diving into another one of Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith's twisted tales, putting it under a lens and examining it to within an inch of its life.
So make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of tea, and join us for The Ninth Degree.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Just slightly melting.
Yeah, very much melting. Yeah, it's a little mini heat wave that time recording.
Yeah, it's nice. Enjoy summer while it's here. Be winter next week.
Yeah, well, if that was the case, I'd be really happy. I much prefer winter and autumn.
You're a winter person.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for hay fever to kick in.
Oh, it's kicked in here. Because at the moment, now it's warmer weather, where I work in a school, like they've opened up the field. So at lunchtimes, instead of the playground, the kids are on the field. And it's just, and you've got to supervise them on there, and it's just grass and, ugh, go away.
Yeah, so far so good, but I don't expect it's going to last.
No.
It lulls me into a false sense of security every year, and then it hits me.
Yes. Yeah, I should start taking my antihistamine, but I always sort of put it off.
Same.
But yes, this is an Inside Number 9 podcast.
It is. It's not a Trials and Tribulations of Sort of Summer podcast.
No. Was it my turn last time to get a hidden title in?
It was.
Yes. I did such an obvious one, didn't I? It was very hard to miss. In case you did miss it, listeners, it was Misdirection. And the audience is probably thinking they see where it's going.
Yeah.
And then they completely 180 it, you know.
Yeah.
It's that beautiful sort of misdirection that they do so well.
Yeah. I spotted it. I'm proud of myself.
Well done.
It's really hard to spot it when you're actually focusing on actually having a conversation at the same time.
Yes. Well, I'll see if I can spot yours this time.
Yeah, we'll see.
Listeners, be listening out. But yes, this week we're talking about episode 4.
Last Gasp.
Or in my accent, Last Gasp.
Last Gasp.
I do keep wanting to call it Last Gasp, though. So, yeah, it's an episode of television, isn't it?
It is. Is it my favourite? No. Is it better? I keep saying this over and over in each episode. I've not watched it since it aired, or since I watched it first time round.
Okay.
And I did enjoy it more than I remembered.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that there's probably not a single bad episode of this show.
Yeah, well, I have one contender for that, but we'll come on to that later.
Okay, we'll come on to that. I'm intrigued. But no, I definitely didn't think this was bad, but it's perhaps not as strong as they're capable of.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I'd written and produced this, I'd be dead chuffed with it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
not bad by any stretch.
No, yeah.
But we should say for everyone, spoilers ahead and all that.
Of course, yes.
So go away and watch on iPlayer if you've not seen it. I have a quick summary from Inside Number 9 Wiki. Tamsin is a very sick little girl, so Jan and Graham have asked Wishmaker UK to brighten up their daughter's birthday. The charity is bringing along a very special guest indeed, none other than the legendary singer Frankie J. Parsons. And then stops.
Oh, so, that's the synopsis, is it?
It is.
That's like the first 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think they really could be bothered.
Okay.
So I think it's up to us then to fill in the rest.
Yes. Can we just mention the name of the charity, Wishmaker UK? And that brilliant moment where he says she's from the maker and then she interrupts Wishmaker UK. Just like to avoid treading on anyone's toes.
Yeah, it's like all the people that have to come up with fake versions of Google in sitcoms and dramas and stuff. And it just gets more and more tangential to the actual thing. But yes, Wishmaker UK. Do you reckon that Frankie was actually Tamsin's choice at all?
Oh, God, no. No, I mean, I will be honest, like, there's a lot of humour in this episode, of course, but I've watched it a couple of times in preparation for this, and it just makes me really angry. Like, the way that Tamsin is treated throughout. Yeah. Clearly, she doesn't give a shit about Frankie Parsons. No. It's Jan's the big fan.
Exactly.
There's a bit later on in the episode where she says, Frankie Parsons in my house, that was going to be my moment. Yeah. Like, it's your daughter's birthday. Your, terminally ill daughter. Yeah. And also, I noticed on my latest watch of it, when Frankie gets the girl's name wrong several times, he says, is Jasmine through here? And the mum just says yes. She doesn't even correct him. It's
Wow, I'd
only
not noticed that.
Tamsin Gregg's character that corrects him. I'm like, she's so just thrilled to have him there. She's not even going to,
Doesn't even care. Oh,
Yeah, so irritating.
poor little Tam Tam.
That does make me cringe when they call her that, though. Because they use her, like Graham, Steve Pemberton's character, he uses her, like, when he's sort of trying to appeal to get her on side, he suddenly looks at her, he hasn't been looking at her for ages, and he suddenly goes, isn't it Tam Tam? You know, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, it's a horrible little family. On the face of it, they're lovely, but
Yes.
they're really, really not. This poor kid. I mean, she barely even gets a line in the whole thing.
Yeah. So Sophie Thompson as Jan, I do like her. Did you know she's Emma Thompson's sister?
I didn't know.
Yeah, she is. A less famous sister. But no, she is good. And the way she plays this character is, the character's quite irritating, I would say. But she does a really good job.
Oh, she does, yeah. Yeah, she's just this weird little mousy housewife. But,
Yeah.
I not really considered it until this watch just how, I guess, manipulative she is to have got in this situation. Like, she's exploiting her daughter's terminal illness to meet some guy that she clearly fancies. Like, what did poor Tamsin actually want to do? She probably didn't even get asked.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like she's quite pushy, and she's probably framed it to Tamsin as like, oh, Frankie Parsons, you like him, don't you? You like it when I put his CDs on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of thing. But also another thing I wanted to say about their relationship is that I know she's turning 9, and obviously, like, they don't know how long she's got left and all that. And I suppose being in that situation would make you quite protective, I suppose. But what I just feel like she talks down to her a lot. Like, she treats her as younger than she is.
Well, yeah, until you just said she was turning 9, I'd not realised her age was specified, which obviously makes sense as 9, but I thought she was more like 6.
Yeah, like she talks to her like a 4-year-old. Yeah. It's that scene when they go outside and she says, how many more birthdays do I have? And she's like, I don't know. And then she goes, lots and lots, I hope. In like this little babyish voice. And it's just like, I mean, obviously, how do you deal with that situation? I don't know. And people deal with these things in different ways. But
Well, they do.
Yeah.
True. And there's just the dad just like, how can we make a load of money out of this?
Yeah.
And they
It's
both
a real-
forget that it's her birthday. Like, and
Yeah.
just ignore her for the whole episode. They don't even realise she's gone missing for a good chunk of it.
Yeah. They literally treat her like an object that's just inconveniently sitting there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be her day. And he's just, when he wants to get her out of the way, and he's like, oh, take her to the toilet, even though she doesn't want to go to the toilet.
Want to go, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
then
a horrible bunch.
And then in contrast, obviously, the whole episode centres around this balloon. That I feel like they kind of treat the balloon more like a baby.
Like they took it into bed and stuff, don't they?
They tuck it up in bed, and then I know Sally is not related, but when she takes it at one point, she sort of cradles it like a baby, and it's just a great contrast the way that they treat this inanimate object with such care.
Yeah,
and then
I've
their
not thought of it
actual
like that.
daughter, they just discard.
Yeah, maybe there is a lot more to this episode than I thought.
There is, yeah. It's on the face of it, and I think we'll talk about the ending, but I think the ending sort of is a bit of a damp squib.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think my issue with it more is I know they don't all have a twist, but that's what I like about the series and what I like about films and TV in general. I love a good twist in something, and it kind of doesn't really have one,
No.
which I think is what sort of lets it down a bit for me.
I suppose you could say the twist is when they realise that he's actually not dead.
True, I suppose.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not like a major
Yeah.
recontextualising.
I do enjoy this whole thing of the balloon though, and the whole like so and so's toast crumbs sold for this, and Harry Styles is this sold for the other, and I do find that I don't know if it still happens, but I know when I was at school that was a massive thing that everyone would talk about. And
Was it really?
yeah, like it was always, they were always flogging these random things you'd hear about,
Oh.
and it is like your mind would does your mind sort of go there? Like you have got this object that possibly is worth something, but then obviously the situation you're in, it's like
Yeah.
we really shouldn't be focusing on that right now. Especially when you've got a dead body involved as well, on top of what should be a little girl's birthday.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just greed just takes over with all of them.
Yeah.
I find the concept of his last breath inside the balloon a bit... is the idea that someone's going to buy it and then decant it into something else, because like it would leak out of the balloon over like quite a short time, wouldn't it? Because
True.
air doesn't stay in balloons for that long.
No.
So I'm like, why is someone going to pay millions of pounds or whatever when it's just going to shrivel up in about a day?
Yeah, that's a good point. I saw a description of where it came from. Do you see that?
Oh yes, yeah. He saw
it was someone on Swap Shop selling like collected jars of air from places.
Yes,
which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah,
like I like to collect stones from when I climb mountains, so I guess it's a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, although
in a way,
a stone you can see and touch.
Yeah, opposed to a shelf full of empty jars.
Yeah,
you do start to look a bit like more of a hoarder. That you have should be like, let's clear these things away now, shall we?
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit different if you had a room full of balloons and it's like, well, this is all of my dead friends. Look at all of these celebrities.
Yeah.
The tinfoil one, so and so.
I don't know. The word I wrote down was just indecent. Just seems quite indecent, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially when they're trying to sort of like apportion up who gets what and like. Like, they start it as, like, the three of them, like, they split it 3 by 3, and then they want to separate it out into, like, then they do it into 4, and no, it should be into 5, and no, it should be into 4 space, and, like, and, you know, fifth will revert back, and all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, it starts getting...
That's another bit that makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Is when she says about, well, let's face it, you know, Tamsin's one isn't going to be with her for very long.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, she's a weird mix, is Tamsin Greig's character. Like,
yes.
At point she's really funny, and then next minute she's really cold.
Yeah, I think she does that so well, though, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's quite a sad job. Like, it must be quite, like, I don't know, nice and heartwarming to start with, and then you get to the sort of, after a few people, it'll become much more of just a job, and it must sort of kill your soul a little bit.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And you probably do end up a bit cold like she is.
Yeah, because presumably you start doing a job like that because you want to make a difference and all that. But yeah, like you say, you kind of probably would have to develop a sort of detachment. Otherwise you would go mad.
Yeah, in the same way that doctors have a horrible sense of humour. Like, it doesn't mean they don't care, but you've got to detach yourself in a way.
I think that's illustrated really well in that scene in the kitchen, isn't it? When she says about her favourite one where the girl wanted to be a postman.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. And it was so lovely. And then she's like, and then she dropped down dead. And it was like, oh, the press were all over that. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she was loving it. Just stick it to the other person that gave her the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a funny character.
Yeah.
I do love Tamsin Greig, though. She's such a great actress. I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote down a couple of her lines that I just loved, where she just randomly says, I once met Jazzy J in a lift. And I'm like, is that supposed to be a reference to like Jessie J or...
I didn't know
Jay-Z
if it was that or Jazzy Jeff. I didn't know.
Oh, I don't know who
Fresh
Jazzy
Prince.
Jeff is. Oh, right,
the guy
okay.
from Fresh Prince, I think.
And Mr. Parsons wants to stay and suck off. What, like, in what context would that have made
been
sense?
what she meant.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders whether what the casting was for this Frankie guy. Whether at any point they tried to get anyone actually famous. And you could have got someone like they referenced Noel Edmonds, if they'd managed to get Noel Edmonds in it or something. I imagine they probably would if this was a series 6, 7, 8 episode.
Maybe.
But series 1, maybe they couldn't get anyone.
I'm wondering if it had been a real person, it might have been too distracting from the story.
Maybe.
Because then you've got the extra aspect of, well, they've died in this, but they haven't died in reality. And I don't know. But I feel like he's a crooner type person, isn't he?
Yeah.
I was thinking like a sort of Michael Bublé or something.
Yeah. I assume he's meant to be a bit of a Bublé type person.
Yeah. I like the idea that he's less famous than Nelson Mandela, but more famous than Robbie Williams.
Yeah. He's somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
But no, I reckon if it had been later on in the run, they would have got someone, because they've had quite a few people playing themselves.
Oh, right, yeah.
In later episodes. So I reckon they probably would have done, but they probably just didn't have a budget back then, really.
Yeah.
First series. And I assume that's the reason why Reese isn't in it. Because presumably, timescales, they'll have filmed this back to back, I'm guessing, with the harrowing.
Well, what I was reading was that apparently they decided when they were doing the first series, they didn't want them both to be in every episode because they thought viewers would think it was just a vanity project and they would get sick of seeing them in every episode.
Oh, okay.
But then apparently, when they weren't both in every episode, people were like, oh, we missed so-and-so. And so they were like, okay, they do want to see us.
Yeah. Oh, I just assumed it was a filming scheduling thing and they were just maximising time.
Yeah.
Because obviously with Steve not being in the Harrowing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, it makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason why Reese couldn't have been the the bodyguard type character.
Yeah, that's
or even
true.
a little role at the end with that Four Boys guy that turns up at the end.
Exactly,
he could have had like a line.
I was kind of peering to see if any of those people at the end was him.
I did as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what you said about the ending, how it just sort of seems to sort of stop. And it doesn't sort of build to anything as such.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of fizzles out a bit.
Yeah, so it seems to come a bit out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They're letting the balloon fly off, which I suppose is meant to be seen as like a happy ending in a way that like Tamsin has kind of taken action. And she's obviously pissed off that they've all been, ignoring her on her birthday and obsessed about this balloon. So she's just let it fly off. And so it's quite nice that she gets that.
Gets the revenge.
That's, yeah.
Although she doesn't get to go to Disney World anymore.
No. The proper one, not the froggy one.
Exactly, yeah. She'll have to go to France instead.
Yeah.
If she's lucky.
But do you know something I wondered with this? So you know how, particularly throughout the first part of the episode, there's a lot of camcorder shots, and they focus quite a lot on the camcorder, and how Jan is confused, and when she thinks it's recording, it's actually not, and vice versa. Yeah. So I feel like maybe there was an earlier draft of the script or something where that came into play, because I feel like it's just sitting there, and she's assumed she's turned it off, and if that camcorder captured the moment when they like smother him later, like that could have been something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I was kind of expecting that, but then I suppose they never go the way you're expecting them to go.
True.
So
I just feel like that was setting up something that never really happened. I guess it was just that it had to be on the side to film him blowing up the balloon. But
That's
otherwise
true,
they wouldn't have had any proof of it.
But it's the fact that, like I said, like she thinks it's on when it's off and vice versa. Yeah. So it made me think, like, if she thinks it's off and it's actually on, like capturing something incriminating, that could have been quite cool.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, just when he dies, like it flashes up at the top to say it's run out of tape or it's running out of tape. So I'm guessing that it didn't capture anything.
Or if there'd been something like, they had to go back to find this footage and then they'd found, the wife like trying to snog him or something, and that'd cause some family drama or whatever.
Yeah.
If there'd been a purpose for it anyway.
Yeah.
I did believe them as a couple, though. I thought they did a good job of the little family dynamic going on.
Oh, definitely. I like the bit when he gets so carried away and he's like about to stab the balloon. Is this what you want? Is this what you want?
Yeah.
And then she comes back in and she just looks at him and she just goes, Graham, get down off the sofa.
She's so done with him.
Yeah.
It's just not even the weirdest thing that's happened that week, is it?
No. You really see how the husband is just useless and like who knows nothing about the domestic life. Like he doesn't know where the sweeteners are. No. He doesn't know which cupboard has the Hoover bags in it. And it's like typical man. Like
yeah. It's my dad.
Is it?
My dad doesn't know anything. We always joke that my mum can't ever go away with her friends for more than a night because otherwise he might starve.
Oh dear.
Because he just about work the toaster and that'll do.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like obviously we don't know much about their lives, like if they work or whatever, but yeah, it does have that typical sort of let the woman do all the domestic stuff. And makes you, I guess, feel a bit sorry for her in that moment.
Yeah, but it's her big day, remember?
Ugh.
The day she's been looking forward to.
Yes.
I don't think I'd realised how bad she was until just now, really.
Oh, yeah, she is. She is. It's like I said, like I literally only just noticed on my last watch when she says yes, when he gets the name wrong and she just says yes, yes, yes. Like, yeah, it's clearly not about the daughter at all, is it?
No.
But yeah, the fact that we then obviously, about, 2/3 of the way in, we discover that he's actually not dead and his arm moves. Like I think that's a great moment.
Yeah. It ironically breathes new life into the episode again.
It does,
keeps it going.
And the way that they then say, you know, we just have to cross our fingers and hope for the best. And Sally's just like, what is the best? Like,
what are you wanting to happen here?
Yeah, it's good drama. It is good drama. And like we always say, every episode we say it would work so well on the stage. But this could be a whole play.
Oh yeah. And you could add so much to this and make a full thing out of it as like a stupid farce as well.
Yes,
if you wanted.
Yeah, the fact that they get Sai to then murder him, basically, it becomes quite chilling.
Yeah, and like they have to flip a coin for it, and like, and he's like, no, won't do it, heads.
Exactly, yeah. I like the way they show it through frosted glass as well when he actually goes to do it.
Yeah. On the face of it, you know, just quite a mundane little household story, but it's actually pretty dark, really.
Yeah,
there's a lot of horrible stuff going on.
Yeah, would you say this is generally considered to be one of the weaker ones?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's bad.
No, it's not. And I think that just speaks volumes about the quality of the whole series, the whole show.
Yeah, and it's the character work for me that really sells it.
Yes.
And like how believable all these people are. Like it's not like they just don't care. They've still written a really good story and really good characters within the story. It's just when you're comparing it against such good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I did wonder on the first watch what was going to happen to this balloon, because obviously you've got such a fragile thing, and how many different ways that this could go wrong.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's like Chekhov's balloon, isn't it?
It actually did sort of survive. Like, yes, it floated away, but it didn't explode at any point, which I imagine most people were expecting.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like you show the balloon and how important it becomes, and you just sort of, you assume, okay, at some point it's going to get popped.
Yeah.
And you're kind of on edge waiting for it, I think.
And the bit where Tamsin holds it and it gets stretched out so far.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I remember being a bit, because you got those people that are really averse to popping balloons.
Yes.
I imagine that triggered a lot of people.
Yeah. But I think that's where they were like, everyone will be expecting that, so going a different way with it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was going to reference the IT crowd, and then I'm like, oh, Graham Linehan, I don't really want to do that. Yeah. And then I was going to mansplain what Chekhov's gun was, and I'm like, people probably don't want me to do that either.
We have a higher calibre of audience than that.
Well, we hope so, yeah.
We hope so.
They can Google it if not.
But they do love all those sorts of things. So, like, playing on tropes and things like Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Like knowing what people are going to expect and then subverting it, which I like.
Exactly, yeah. I love the fact that they actually went to the effort of recording music with the actor.
That's a good point. And several songs as well.
Yeah, it was at least 2.
And he could sing. He did a good job.
Yeah.
I looked him up. I don't think he's not really done anything else that I recognised.
No, I think, wasn't he on Broadway or something? I think.
Quite possibly.
I think so.
But no, I didn't know him from anything else. I guess that was maybe intentional, that they wanted someone that looked like they could be famous, but you wouldn't be distracted by knowing they were actually
he kind of looks a bit like George Clooney.
In a way. Yeah, I can sort of see that.
And yeah, look, got that Michael Bublé thing going on as well.
Mm.
And again, like in the short amount of screen time he gets before he dies, he's actually quite complex. Like he's, you know, when he says, she says, do you mind if I film this? And he says, oh, actually, I'd like a copy myself. And it's like, or is he just wanting that to make himself look good and like how charitable he's being and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it was to take it as like he was, you know, trying to make her feel special and like, oh, I'd like a copy because it's going to be that good. And
yeah.
Like, yeah. And then asking whether he wants to come back in the room again and make it like he's trying to pick up his part a bit. And
yeah.
Do we believe the bit somewhere in the middle where, is it Tamsin Greig's character says that he hadn't wanted to do it or that he hates this sort of thing?
Wasn't it Sai saying that to Graham? He said that he was like, oh, he hates all the sick kids and stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if I believe half of what Sai says.
That's the thing. Once serious money starts to get involved,
exactly,
all these people start saying all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's that when he says about something is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. That reminded me of our conversation we had a couple of episodes ago about art and like something that could be absolutely nothing. But if someone's willing to pay that much for it, then yeah.
Well, exactly. Like if you took if they did follow through with their thing of getting 2 other balloons and inflating them and then jumble them together, are they all then worth the same as the original balloon, or are none of them worth anything anymore, or are they worth a third of the original balloon?
Yeah, I don't know, because, well, it depends if people know that the other two exist.
Well, true.
Do you
But
know
say
what I mean?
they did know.
If they did know, then
What becomes what's the thing of worth?
I suppose someone would have to buy all three of them,
Yeah.
knowing that at least one of them's got the breath in.
Yeah.
But it's just so ridiculous, isn't it? And that, I think that's a great thing about this, is that it is bloody ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, who the fuck gives a shit about some carbon dioxide and a bit of latex or whatever it is?
Yeah, well, when he starts to talk about, like, no one owns the air, but
Yeah.
they own the balloon.
Yeah.
So, and they're, like, arguing about it. And it's like, well, in my opinion, it purely is the family's possession. Like, the others don't have any claim on it. Because ultimately, the air is the air.
Yeah, exactly.
No one can own the air.
No,
So
I mean, they've certainly
the only
got
thing
no...
you can claim is the balloon.
Yeah, they've certainly got no right to claim to it, really.
Yeah.
The other thing that annoys me, and I think this is put in to, like, show that maybe Sai is a bit of a twat and doesn't know what he's talking about, is when he says, right at the beginning, he says, I think you're breaching Mr. Parsons' intellectual property rights. And I'm like, in what way is his breath intellectual property?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, he's not got, like, a political leaning or anything like that.
His breath isn't, like, copyright to him.
No. Yeah, it's not like, his last... it'd be one thing if he'd signed a CD and that was the last thing he ever signed.
Yeah.
You could sort of somehow claim something. But, yeah. I love how they must have had a fight writing the script, and how does she get this balloon without it just, like, flying around the room or whatever while he's dying?
Oh, yeah, do you know, I thought
pass
that.
It over and
Yeah, well, because, second time I rewatched it to make notes and everything, I was thinking about that, and I went back and I watched it and was like, the moment when how does he pass it over? And it actually looks a bit clunky when you look at it.
Yeah.
It's like he's going through like an aneurysm and he still takes the time to pinch the balloon shut and pass it to her. Like, it's a bit convenient.
But it's kind of one of those plot says it has to happen, but reality wouldn't have had it happen. But then I guess maybe it does speak to the guy being actually nicer than we maybe give him credit for. That
Yes.
He is in that moment thinking of this little girl.
Yes, that's true.
So, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
he's a
think
good
actually
guy.
dramatically it makes it better if he is a nicer guy, isn't it? That they're then still taking advantage of him in his death. as it
Yeah,
were.
vulture swirling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they really do. It does become quite brutal, though, everyone arguing. And it just ramps up and ramps up. Like, I don't know if you want to keep this in, but it reminded me of Midnight, almost. The dynamic of everyone shouting at each other over nothing. Well, not nothing, but like just building it up and up within themselves.
Yes.
More so than what's even actually caused it.
Yes. So for any listeners who aren't aware of Doctor Who episodes, that was
I don't know how many of your fans have come over from there.
Well, hopefully some, but yeah.
Hopefully.
Midnight was a very strong David Tennant episode of Doctor Who, basically set entirely within the confines of a space bus with a group of strangers, and they just get gradually more and more angry and argumentative over things.
Yeah.
That's a really bad summary of that episode, but it makes the point that we're trying to make.
Yeah, that's the bit we need to focus on.
Yeah. It makes it sound literally like they're just arguing over
Nothing. Yeah, there are stakes. People are going to die.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Did you spot the hair in this episode?
I did. Did you?
I'll be honest, no, but I googled it.
It's another obvious one.
It is actually really. I saw the screenshot, and I was like, how did I not see that?
Other than the mum, it's the only thing in the shot. The first time I saw it, I assume it's there earlier, but the clearest shot is about 11 minutes in.
Okay.
On the shelf behind the mum.
Yeah.
While she's talking about what music to play, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I have started tutoring a new student recently.
Okay.
And we tutor in their kitchen, and they've got a hair that looks very similar to the Inside Number 9 hair. And I'm tutoring, and I just feel like I'm in an episode of Inside Number 9, like I'm going to get murdered in a minute or something.
Check the basement, see if there's anyone down there, anyone in the attic. Or
So, should we do a rating?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Okay, it's so tricky, isn't it?
What should we... Are we meant to be rating this as one is bad, or just one is our least favourite?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Which I've not considered before.
Yes.
Because that massively changes my opinion on how I rate it.
Absolutely, yeah. Is it a scale of just all the episodes? And no, I don't think it is that. I think it is on a scale of
worst to
one is bad. But then you've got to bear in mind ones we've rated already.
Yeah.
So it's tricky, isn't it? Do you know what? Scales like that are notoriously tricky for neurodivergent people.
Right.
So,
Fair.
and I've always found this. I found like when the doctors ask you like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how much does it hurt?
Yeah.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, well, I don't know because I don't know what a 10 is because I need to know what that is to experience it, to judge it.
Lopping your leg off or something feels like. But right now, it's pretty damn bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the number I've written down for this is a 3.
Okay.
Which sounds really low, but I think bearing in mind how I've rated other ones in this series, I think it's fair
Cool.
to say that it is, like I said, it's not bad at all.
No.
But as an Inside Number 9 episode, I think there are many more that are much more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking around a similar area. I was gonna go 4.
Okay.
I think it's not my least favourite, but it's definitely down there. So yeah, I think I go with a 4.
Okay. That's fair. Do you anticipate there being any that go under that?
There's one that springs to mind, but only one.
Okay.
And that's
I'm
not for a while
intrigued
yet.
to find out what that is. Is it early-ish on in the show or is it later on in the show?
I want to say series 3.
Okay.
Answers on
Curious.
postcards, viewers.
Yeah. Well, there was Last Gasp.
Last Gasp. It's a different episode. It's a different style of thing. And that's one of the great things about this programme is that, yeah, we might not have liked that, but next week you get something entirely different.
Exactly.
So,
the variety.
exactly. You're not stuck with a whole series about the same thing that you might not have liked.
Yeah. And honestly, I would hate listeners to go away from this thinking that we thought it was bad because it really wasn't.
Yeah. It really wasn't. No, it was great. And the characters were great. And there was some very funny bits, some thought-provoking bits. And
yeah,
it had all the good stuff.
Definitely.
Just comparing it to the others, it's not the same to me.
Yes. Well, that's that then.
Yeah.
Next week is The Understudy.
The Understudy. It's one for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember really liking this on my first watch. I don't think you're as keen.
No, it's not my sphere as much, so I think a lot of it will go over my head, but
okay.
I'm excited to learn all the stuff that I don't know about it.
Oh gosh, pressure.
And all the references. And this is funny because.
Yeah. Okay, I'll come prepared.
Good.
For now, though, we're closing the door on number 9.
But you never really leave, do you?
Thanks for listening to The Ninth Degree. If you'd like to get in touch, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at Ninth Degree Pod, or email us at ninthdegreepod@gmail.com. You can also leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts.